What's up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight. Had a request the other day to break down Lake Gladewater. Went out and took a look at it. Pretty small lake, so I figured, what the heck? Let's go ahead and knock it out. So tonight, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go jump in. We're going to go out to East Texas. We're going to take a look at Lake Gladewater. Let's go. So to start off with, let's do that. Here we are in the Texas Park and Wildlife page for Gladewater City Lake, or what's also known as Gladewater Lake. The location is on Glade Creek in the city of Gladewater, 20 miles west of Longview, off of FM 2685 and north of US 80. The surface area on this lake, it's pretty small, 481 acres. Maximum depth is only 30 feet. Not maximum depth, impounded in 1953. The current lake level you can go here and see, but it looks like it doesn't really fluctuate too much. It looks like fluctuations 2 to 3 feet, so didn't find too much from a Google Earth standpoint. Found a few things, and then the clarity here is moderately clear. You can go down here and look a little bit about this. It also talks about aquatic vegetation. Less than 10% of the lake's surface area is covered, mostly with native species. American lotus dominates the lake. You can also go here and see the predominant fish species: largemouth bass, catfish, crappie, bluegill, and red ear sunfish. And then if you click on lake records and go down and look for largemouth bass, a pretty big one, but it's been a while since anybody's posted anything here, and that's 13.6 pounds in 1995. So we definitely need to update that one for sure. Talks a little bit about the angling opportunities for the largemouth bass, talks about the population, with a lot of unders, but still having some pretty good size there. There are also some Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractor sites out here on this lake, and we'll talk about those here in just a second when we switch over to Google Earth. So that's about everything you can find here on the Texas Park and Wildlife page. Let's switch over and let's see this thing in Google Earth. Well, let's jump in here to Gladewater Lake. Now you can see it's pretty far east Texas. So here's Dallas over here. Here is Gladewater Lake, just north and east of Tyler, and would be north and west of Longview. So we zoom in here. Here's Highway 80. We're going to go in and we're going to check this out. And I've got this lake broken down by a couple things. Obviously, a pretty small lake, so not a lot of stuff really that I could show you. I mean, there are obviously quite a few things, but not a ton like a huge lake. But over here on the left-hand side, let's just show you how we have this broke down. First off, I've got the channels marked. Most of the channels really are all on the north side. There's only 2 of them. You've got one little ditch that comes through here. I don't know if this is a channel or what the heck this is, but a pretty nice little ditch. I'll show you guys that here in a little bit. And then up on the north side, obviously you've got the main creek channel coming through here, and I was able to mark that once we pulled the water down, so you'll be able to see that. We've also got several different types of cover, whether it be laydown, debris, ditches, tires, just things that I found, things that I don't even know what they are. That's what I put check there for. So just some things to check out. Also, offshore hotspots. Most of the offshore stuff is going to be obviously on the southern end of the lake. And really, it really just consisted of underwater humps. There's a lot of underwater humps out here. I've marked them all for you guys so you can see them. And we'll switch over to Navionics boating app before we switch out of here to end the video, and I'll show you guys the contours on this lake. There's not a lot to offer, but what is out there, I think they would be very productive. We've also got ramps, not too many ramps on this lake, really just those 2 down there on the southern end. And then last but not least, Texas Park and Wildlife has put some fish attractor sites out here as well. There's a few down here by this main dock, 3 down there, and then there's some more that are up here, 1 there, and a couple more up there. So let's go ahead and zoom into this thing and start taking a look. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to the date, and I'm going to move the date back to 10 of 13 because that seems to be the best image that I can get on this lake. So I'm going to go back to 10 of 13, and that is where we're going to start. So just a friendly reminder, you can always go out to simplisticfishing.com and get all of these waypoints that we're talking about today on an SD card. You can just import them directly into your graph. So make sure to go check that out, simplisticfishing.com. It's not just for this lake. We've got a ton of lakes done. We're now over 100 lakes and still going, actually moving into Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Arkansas now. So let's go ahead and move in here. Let's talk about this. We're going to start at the dam. So obviously, you know, when you get down by the dam's always a good place to find fish. But unfortunately, there's nothing here that I could really mark for you guys. We're going to move on up. So as we move up, we get about, I don't know, just south of those power lines, there's a pretty good laydown that's out here, kind of hidden out here just south of that little boat dock that's right there, but a giant laydown that's out there. That one can be productive for sure. Moving on up, the next thing that I wanted you to check out was right here. Zoom out a little bit, show you guys where I'm at. It was right here where it says check. On this one, and I'm just not sure what this is, but definitely something that I think the fish would hang around. Looks like some kind of debris or something like that going on in here. This whole thing just seems like kind of a little flat up here. I could see them getting up here and feeding at certain times of the year, but definitely look right there where I put check because there's something going on there. We're going to move on up the lake. There's not a ton of stuff here, but there is a couple pipes that are up here as well. So if you zoom back a little bit, show you we're just underneath that cove there. We've got some pretty decent little pipes that come out right here. You can see both of them. And I know you think I'm crazy for picking out pipes, but I'm telling you, I've had heydays on these pipes sometimes. So they're always worth checking out. Not always do they have fish on them, but they're definitely worth checking out. As we move up here, we get past this little cove. Obviously, I like that dock right off that point. You know, I didn't mark any of the docks here, but that would be a good dock to fish. But right over here off the edge of that dock, on this side, Texas Park and Wildlife has a fish attractor site right there. And that is going to be a good spot to not only find crappie, but also find the largemouth bass. You've got another one that's a little bit further up here as well. So you want to check that out. And then as we get up here, and we're getting a little bit more into the creek here where it's narrowing, but we get right up here, there's some interesting things going on up in here. One, this dock has some debris right outside the edge of it. You can see this whole line of it. You know that's going to be a good spot. Also, this dock right back here, this is actually an old pond, and they built the dock right over the pond. The dock is actually setting on the pond dams. The pond dam would be like right in here. There's a little opening to it. So maybe checking out behind this dock could be a really good dock. Then again, some pipes, one there and one there. So this whole little area right in here looks like it could be a good little area to go explore. We've also got some additional laydowns that are just way out here in the middle of the lake, some stick ups, laydowns, whatever you want to call them. But this looks like it could have some potential. If anything, you just want to stay away from it. Don't knock your lower unit out, but definitely go check that out. Now, as we're coming up here, you remember the image that I showed you earlier of 2023. So when we took it to 2023, I told you there was a really interesting ditch or channel back here. I wasn't sure what it was. First off, this looks like frog heaven. But let's move this back to 1013. Now that you saw that, what it looks like now, and let's go back to 1013. This is that little ditch I was telling you about. So it's interesting. You can see that it comes down here, it makes a little turn. There's definitely a creek channel there. And then this line right here was just a really, really fine line that went all the way back here into the trees. I have no idea what it is, but anytime you get that kind of little depth change where they can get down in there and hug in there and stuff like that, that's always good. These little creek bends right here and right here could be productive as well. You've also got some additional debris that was out here. I couldn't tell what that was. That could just be some bunch of laydowns or an old brush pile or something. But definitely looking in here. And obviously you got to be careful up here. Look at all the stumps everywhere. So be extremely careful coming up here. Also some additional bigger laydowns that are in here. You got a lot of stumps and things, but these are the big laydowns. Some really big ones just outside of this dock. And then we've also got some additional debris that's just right in here that you can pick up just out right outside this dock. So that's probably gonna be a good little crappie hole as well, but also a good bass spot. Then we're gonna move up. Let's just look at this creek channel really quick. Very interesting. I can see me spending a lot of time back up in here as long as the water was deep enough for me to get back in here. This is where I'd probably go play. So just a really good creek channel. It kind of splits off as you get up here. This looks like the main channel over here on the right, but it does split off over here to the left and kind of make a circle. And then it also comes back down this way. So you could probably fish it up if the water was up high enough, then come back down and fish it down. But this whole area just looks really juicy. So let's keep coming down. We talked about those laydowns. Here's another ditch in here. This one's kind of hidden. I liked that one as well. I could see me definitely fishing around that, see if I could find anything. We're coming around this swing here. And the next thing, we got another ditch that's down here. This one looks interesting as well. I don't know what that is. It could even be like a pipe or something like that was buried in there or something. I don't know what it is, but you got a little ledge that's right there, and then you've got this little ditch thing going on right here. Or that actually could be the ditch. I'm seeing things now. This is the ditch. And that's the washout from the ditch where I have that marked at. But that's going to be all blowing out there. Probably going to find some rock or something like that there just from that being all washed out. But definitely look in that spot. I'll zoom back a little bit and show you where I was at here. That was a little bit further up the lake, right? So it's up here, right there where it says ditch. So let's keep coming down. Here's another little flat that kind of points out. It's got some really good laydowns on the outside of it. While we're up here, let's look at that ditch in 2023. And see, you would never know that was there. You'd not know. So you definitely want to go look at these spots because that could be a really good one right there. Especially after looking at when the water was down and then now looking at it when the water's up, it just looks 100% different. Coming down here, here's your laydowns, right? Over there. And then we're going to move down. There are some laydowns right there that looks like what I missed right off the edge of that point. Nothing crazy, but there is a laydown right in that area, right in there. So go check that out. We've also got some laydowns out here beside this dock you could fish around. And then another ditch that's right in here. You can see this one. This one's pretty decent. I really like it, especially if we move that water up. Now you don't know it's there, and that's when you find the magical spots when you see stuff like that. Guys, definitely go look at that and let me know if that treated you pretty good because that looks good. You got some stumps out here as well. I just like it. I like the way that it sets up. And that was right up here, so just above this cove, just right in that area. All right, so let's keep moving down, see what else we can find. Here's another one of those little flats or little points that come out. The reason why I picked this is because if you notice, it looks like a perfect line of stumps. If it's not stumps, what it could be old dock pillars as well, but I don't know if they'd be that far out. But I just like how that sets up. It could be some rocks too. I'm not sure. It could be debris that this dock owner put out here to cast towards. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely worth checking out. You just got a lot of docks that go down here. I didn't see too much going on here. There's not a good creek channel back here or anything to mark. But it looks like the neighbors here were sharing some tires. So there is some stuff to check out here. You can see these tires that are here. That's these little circle dots. Got them all right in here. And then you've got some dock posts that are out here too. Hopefully, if I move this up to 23, there's not a dock there yet. There's not. So those old dock posts can be really good. So definitely good looking area to go scan around or flip around. I wouldn't even scan around that. I'd just go up there and fish it. Then let's back off a little bit. Let's go down a little bit further. I wanted you to check this out. I don't know what it is, but maybe a rock, maybe some kind of debris. The image isn't good enough, but just check it out, see what it is. Maybe there's a couple fish hanging on it. You've also got some laydowns down here. So if you look outside this dock, number one, this dock just looks good. It's got a lot of timber around it. It's got laydowns around it. It's got the standing timber right here. It just looks good. It's coming right off that little point right in there. So fishing in that area. Also, here's the Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractor that we talked about. Then we got to go pretty much way down the lake. We don't find anything else from a Google Earth standpoint until we get all the way down here. And really the only two things we find are the two ramps. I didn't see any rock that was out here. Maybe this little ditch right here. You could check out and see if it goes any further, but it's right around the swimming area. And so I kind of pass on that stuff. But one thing that really sticks out to me is you've got these fish attractor sites right here. I mean, they are literally right there by the boat ramp in this picture. But when I move this up to 2023, you can tell things have kind of changed a little bit. Now they've built this dock out here, and these brush piles are literally right underneath those docks. I don't know if they're brush piles or PVC attractors, whatever they are, but that's like perfect. You know, you put in the water, you want to get a couple fish right out of the gate, go fish those little docks, pick up a couple fish, get your day going good. Can't beat it. So definitely go look in there. Let's go ahead and switch over and let's look at this thing from the boating app and talk about those offshore hotspots. Let's jump in here to Lake Gladewater and see what we can find. Again, didn't see a lot of stuff on this lake. You can tell up here, it gets very, very shallow up in that creek channel and stuff that we were talking about. But there is one spot that's up here on the north end that I did want to point out as we're talking about offshore hotspots. And really, that's going to be, let me zoom back and show you guys. It's going to be right here, right outside of where this little creek channel comes in, but it's right here. Notice the contours get pretty deep here. It's 12 foot, it's 6 foot. Well, right in there is also the same place where you saw that Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractor. It was right there in that exact spot. So definitely go check that out as far as offshore stuff. And then we really got to start coming down pretty far before we start seeing anything really worthy of an offshore spot. And then we get in here and we start seeing some really good stuff. Let me zoom in here and show you. These are two little humps that are way out here in the middle of the lake. Got one right here, and then you've also got another one down here. Now, I didn't see anything special about the humps, like any side of the hump that broke more than the other side. Obviously, you got a little bit sharper break on this side of the hump, but I'm thinking just fish the whole entire thing. Fish around it, see where the bait fish are located, and that's probably going to take you to the fish. It's also going to be wind related too, so really pay attention to where the wind is, because that's going to show you how the fish are likely to be staging up on these humps. And then as we move further down here, we're going to go a little bit further down and show you about 5 different spots here. Number one, let's look at this dock over here to the right. Notice how deep it is compared to all the other docks. Most of the docks on this lake are pretty shallow, but this dock has some really good depth to it. So it definitely fish around that area. And then we've got the humps that are out here. You've got our good hump that's right here. You got a really good looking saddle that's in here, another good hump. And then you've got a hump that's a little bit further down here to the left. As soon as that crosshair goes away, that looks pretty good as well. And then last but not least, just the very bottom down here at the bottom of the lake, just got a really good hump that's out here too. So anyways, guys, that wraps us up for Lake Gladewater. Please make sure to go check out our website, simplisticfishing.com. We've got all of these waypoints to where you can put them on an SD card, or I can ship you the SD card. You can put it right into your graph and know exactly where these spots are. We also have about 100 other lakes that are out there as well. So go check it out, simplisticfishing.com. And until next time, I hope you catch your PB.